Okay, hello guys. I actually receive a lot of comments that I know very well Excel, so I'm trying to share it. Today we're going to discuss VLOOKUP and then index match. So VLOOKUP is very helpful if you're trying to find something in, like if you have a number of um, data in an Excel, and then you wanted to find something, then VLOOKUP is very helpful. So what you need to do would be you enter equals, and then you type in VLOOKUP. It will ask you for the lookup value, the table array, the column index, and then the range lookup. So lookup value, that's the data that you need to find, and then the table array where you're going to find the data from, and then column index will tell you which column. So from say for example, we can get this one. Say I wanted to find um, the amount for this specific invoice, then you can paste this one, and then you can do this VLOOKUP and find the invoice number, and from the table array, so where you're going to find this invoice number from. So you go to your, in this case, this is a database, and then I'm just going to highlight, since I will be looking for, so my unique identifier would be the invoice number, then I will go to this table and start from invoice number column, and then go to my right. So from here, from this column G, I will count, say I wanted to find the amount, I will count the number of columns from G until the amount. So I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 columns. I will write here 8, and this is your column index number, and then your range lookup would be either true or false. If you want to answer true, then it's the approximate match. If it's false, then that's the exact match, and what we wanted is false because we wanted to get the exact match. Or you can also use 1 and 0. If it's 1, then it's true. If it's 0, then it's false. Then that means uh, the if it's 1, it's approximate match. So it, whatever, it will approximately assess which of that you're going to find. But if you wanted to get the exact match, then you write 0, and then you should be able to see here the result, which is 200. You can do that for all the items that you need to look at. And if, for example, you wanted to see what the invoice date will be, so you just, instead of 8, you just write here 2. Why I write 2? It's because it's the second column from the invoice number. So again, if this is your lookup value, what you need to do is just enter VLOOKUP, and then this lookup value, and from where you're going to look it up. So you have to remember that this lookup item that you are checking is in column G because it's an invoice number. So from invoice number, you highlight that specific column until right, until you see, either you see the numbers, you can either highlight until you see the column which you wanted to find the solution, or you can just go up until the end of your table. If you do that, it doesn't really matter, because what would matter would be which number of column you want the result to, you want the result to be, or where your result is going to be. So from your VLOOKUP um, VLOOKUP code or whatever. So from G, which is the invoice number, and then you just have to count to your right. The limitation for VLOOKUP is that what if you're looking for, your answer would be on column on the left. So you cannot find that because your table would be going to the right. So from invoice number to the right. So that's where you need a different formula, which is called index match. So index match is very, what's this, flexible, because you can just say this array would be your table. So you can highlight, you can either highlight all the table which has the data, or you can highlight from column A to column P where you have all the data, so that if in case you're going to add some more data here, it will be captured in your index match. So what I'm doing right now is doing an index match on the table from column A to P, and then you have to, it will ask you for row number, but you don't really know where that row number is. So that's where you use the match. So the match will tell you which row number the code that you're looking for is located. Say for example, we're going to match. So we go back to our calculation, and then we're looking for this number, for this invoice number. So I'm just gonna write, so to avoid confusion, I'm just going to write here the invoice number. This is the item that we're looking at. And then we wanted to know what the customer name for this particular invoice is. So using index match. So if you go like here, index, and then you highlight from column A to P, and you can either press your F4 if you're using Windows. That will secure this these columns from A to P, and then you go match. So we match this invoice number. So because this is an invoice number, we highlight, we will find it under column invoice number, which is on G, and then you press F4, just so this will be stationary and doesn't move. So, and then the same thing with vlookup. You can either choose 1, 0, or -1. You can actually, Excel actually has this guide which will tell you what code you're going to use, whether it's 1 if you want less than, so whatever is less than whatever you're looking, or if it's 0 if you wanted to see the exact match, in -1 if it's greater than. But mostly what we're using is that 0 because we wanted to get the exact match. And then column number, since we don't also, so that's when you can either count. So column A is number 1, column B is number 2 and 3. So you count from column A, B, C, D, E. And because we wanted to see the customer number that falls on column F, then we're going to write here 6. But if you don't know that, or you don't really want to, or if you have so many columns you don't want to count, what you can do is that you can also do a match, and also do match against this one. So you have match. I wanted to find which column this customer name falls. So I will go and write match, and then from here, so instead of highlighting all these columns, I'm just going to highlight this one row and then press F4, and then I will choose 0 because I wanted to see the exact match, and then I will close it. Oh, so I have customer name, but maybe this one doesn't have. So it's customer name and user. So I was just going to replace that, and then see, you get the answer. So that, for example, if you can just copy this one and then move it to your right or wherever, and then so instead of looking for customer name only, you can like check what the revenue type is. So you can copy and paste it here, and then this one will automatically get updated. So it's a license, it's for this customer, it's for this invoice. So unlike vlookup, where your only choice would be to get, if this is your identifier or this is your key, then what you have to do is, I mean, you are only limited to the option of getting whatever data is on the right. But if it's indexed, whether it's on the right or on the left, you can actually retrieve that by using index match. So I usually use index match because it's more, it doesn't have, like, it doesn't have much limitation. So I'm not sure what else I can teach you. So maybe we can, for now, we will just do VLOOKUP and then index match. And then maybe some other day I can teach you about some ifs or count ifs or indirect or some others. Okay, so we'll just try again, say, like, I wanted to see what the contract start date is. So you can actually see that one here. It populates with the correct data. And now we're having this number. And if you wanted to see the date, you can just either press your keyboard with control and then +1, then you change it to date. See this one, or you can just go home. You can click on this home ribbon, and then on the drop down, you select short date. And what else? So we wanted to see this, we have done, and we wanted to see like the serial numbers. So if we can just paste that, so this we can automatically see the serial number. I will change the invoice number and see if the data also changes when I change the invoice number. Oh, oh, so see this one, what I did was I fixed the lookup value on column A, which is A2. So this is what's going to happen if you fixed everything. And while you wanted it to be dynamic, but this one, adding $sign would tell Excel that this cell is fixed. No matter where you move it, it will go point to this number or this cell. So what you can do is take this out. So if you wanted to lock in your cell number 2, so it always goes down to number 2. So whether then you add $sign before the number, before row number, which is row number 2. But if you wanted to lock in the column, then you add $sign on the column. Yeah, that's it. So I'll just copy this one and move it to the right, and this one are populated. And to change the format for contract start date, because this looks like a number and you wanted it to appear as a date, you just click on your keyboard, you press Control plus F1, Control +1, and then you choose the date here. Or you can go to home button ribbon and then drop down and then change it to short date and serial number. So whatever you need to find, you can just copy this column, column name, and then paste it to your VLOOKUP formula, and you can do for all. So I'm just going to paste here just so you can see the all the rows are populated, because these are dates. I wanted to show this as dates. So I will go to home ribbon, and then on the drop down I'll choose either short date, or I can just press Control plus F1, and this one will appear, format cells, and I can like choose which format I wanted it to appear, like complete with the day, the month, and the year, or just this shortcut of month, day, year. Or if I really want it differently, I can just go to custom, and then right here, like I wanted to see like day, and then the full month and the full year. So you just write D, and then 2D, 3Ms, and then 3Y. So Excel will automatically change this format into whatever you want, whatever you wrote on the custom. Yeah. So I think that's all for now. If you have questions, just leave a comment, and I will try to answer as soon as I can. Thank you.